Everyone will please join me in calling this meeting to order with a pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right, calling the meeting to order for JPS, members present, myself. Here we have also here today, we have legislator McNabb Coleman, legislator Sargent, legislator Strong, and legislator Vitale. First order of business we have is to approve the minutes of July 8th. So entertain a motion for approval.
Move it.
Second,
Second.
any further discussion? Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes approved. No appointments to this committee for this month. That will lead us right into our department head reports, starting with 911. Denise?
Good evening. You should have my update, but I'll highlight a couple of key points on there. As far as staffing, we just lost another full-time employee. So we are, as of, I think the 16th, we're going to be at 16 full-time employees, which puts us in pretty bare bones. Over the course of the last 2 days, we've interviewed, I think, 11 candidates. We've got one more on Thursday. So I want to say how much the HELP program is really impacting us. It's been a huge benefit. I'm really hoping that state civil service keeps pushing that because we're seeing so much more interest in the position. The other thing I want to highlight with respect to that is Denise Prieto. If any of you have ever worked with her, she's phenomenal. And I think it's important to highlight our good people because she really has been a huge help to us with figuring out employee numbers and figuring out the HELP program. And you'll see I have a couple of resolutions tonight. She really is savvy with civil service law and the HELP program and helping us work through all of the nuances associated. Under administrative updates, staff attended National Night Out. I don't know if anybody was able to get out to that last week. I think you guys were there. Yeah. That's a big event by the city PD. It's a great community event and it gives our employees a chance to, one, get out of the center and to really get to engage with the community. So it's a lot of fun for the kids too. And then I gave you kind of an overview of a conference that I went to recently. We really don't do a lot of leadership development, but this, I will say the APCO conference was huge. There was a lot to be learned from that. And I brought a lot back from some of the speakers there and some of the sessions talking about AI. AI is really dominating the world and it's really going to be impactful in the 911 center in time. We're working on implementing a new phone system, which will be fully grant funded, that has an AI component. And it will transcribe the caller's voice, it'll transcribe the dispatcher, and it will also do translation. So if somebody calls in and speaks a different language, it translates up to about, I think, 50 different languages. And it will also translate back to the caller. If the dispatcher speaks in English, it'll translate it back to the caller. So that hopefully will help us eliminate our language line. Right now, if somebody calls in with a different language, we have to bring in a third party. So this will help eliminate some of that. There's a lot of cool things coming with AI and some of our technology. And as far as the communication system, you see that there was some work done on the Summerhill site. We had gotten some complaints about coverage. We did meet with a big group today on the Summerhill coverage, and I think there was a lot to be learned and a lot of benefit to today's meeting. And I hope that moving forward, we'll be able to overcome some of those obstacles. It's just one of those areas that has some dead spots in it that was known in the beginning when we implemented the system. So just trying to work through how we can cover some of those gaps is kind of our goal right now. And you see the antenna issues. We do have 2 antenna issues at Ovid and Aurelius, and I'm still working on getting a vendor to do that. Our vendor that generally has taken care of this has gotten very ill. So we're working on locating another vendor to,
Is it just a maintenance issue or is it, there's a part broke or?
no, we need new antennas. New antennas that are dead.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're working on that. And then I have 5 resolutions.
All right. I guess before we get into the resolutions, does anybody have any questions for Denise?
Yes, please. Can you give me some kind of update? I just have, and this is the last GPS meeting.
I probably did too.
Summer feels long. Just, where are we with the backup center for number 1?
I have,
I just,
Oh, don't let me.
I just heard your noise.
I know more than
I unfortunately have not been given any updates on that. I hate to say that, but I really have not been given anything.
Are we still operating out of Wasco?
We have very limited equipment in Owasco.
Okay, that's where you got the new computers. We just went back.
Those went back. We don't have the new ones in place yet.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. Okay.
Yeah, I know it was talked about and brought to the fore, maybe in the full-edge meeting before about moving to Auburn Fire.
Yes.
That was kind of in with, moving the data center there and everything. And
Yes, I know.
it is still, still the goal to get there. In the plan. And I think some laptops you just got, they're ordered or not quite in yet, or
We've ordered them. We have the laptops. We don't have all of the software and hardware from Motorola associated to implement those yet.
some of the equipment is,
We're waiting for one piece of equipment.
right? And that is still the goal is to tie in at Auburn Fire. Is it best in ideal situation? Probably not, but it's what we have within what we feel we can work with and, it's going to, should get us through for, and I can't answer that without the chair, I can't answer for the chair as far as what else he might have going on, but I know the goal is still to get at the Auburn Fire.
And then in the meantime, if something were to, if you're not fully equipped at Owasco, calls would go to Seneca if you in fact needed.
So it depends on what, and that's kind of one of the things we've talked about, is it depends on what the issue is. If the issue is radio,
Yep.
then we have a problem. If the issue is phone, then yes, it would go to Seneca.
Okay.
Any-
I don't know if you know, but with our current backup center, we lost power again in it on Saturday.
I was gonna ask you if you've had any problems.
Oh, yes, we have.
Okay, sounds like it's still tangled up. It needs to get
That was,
Is it?
unwound.
Denise, is that because of the maintenance or work that they're doing in the building?
Mm.
Just, we don't, it's a.
Sounds like it was a transformer issue or it was a circuit issue. But we've lost some equipment as a result.
Yeah, I think. Thank you.
some kind of an electrical issue is what I got back. Is that what it was? Power,
What?
some kind of an electrical issue and now power was restored.
Mhm.
Some equipment did receive some damage through that, right?
It appears it has. I did ask for it to go through a decontamination process so we could pull it out of there and do some troubleshooting on it to see if it's in fact dead or if it was a power supply issue, or we just don't know why it won't power back up.
Anybody else? Also, I just kind of want to make mention, I know it's your report, but I'm going to tie the other department heads into it. You had mentioned about the night out there at Hoops Park. I think it was a great event. I know we were well represented from 911, Sheriff's Department, probation, stop DWI. The DA's office was there and I was there, Legislator Strong attended, and the participation from the public was huge, and they were really interacting with what our departments had to offer there. And I thought it was a really good event.
Probation Department won the award for creativity.
Yeah.
It was fabulous.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's a step up from that.
It was very good. That was impressive.
We gotta step up our game.
Yeah. Competition next year.
Oh, here we go.
With that said, hearing nothing else, no other questions, I guess we'll go through your resolutions, please. Start with number one.
Okay, JP1. I don't want to step on your toes. Were you starting to announce them? Sorry.
Sorry.
I said, were you starting to announce them? I think I stepped on your toes.
Oh, I just said JP1. Go if you go with that.
Gotcha. Okay. JP1 is for new cameras at our tower sites. The camera system at our tower sites is old and has failed. So I've been working with IT and Tom has been an integral part in this and helping us come up with a new vendor and got us some quotes. So this will be grant reimbursed from our SEEK 23 and 24.
I'll move it, JP1.
Second, Mark.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? JP1 is carried. JP2.
JP2 is to create 3 help positions. The language isn't in there, but we are abolishing 3 positions, 3 dispatch positions to offset these 3 help positions.
A motion for JP2.
Move it, Mark.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. JP3.
JP3 is to fill a vacant ESD position. This is kind of a cleanup. I have an employee who self-demoted. So he is currently in a help position. He can't be in a help position because he is a civil service employee. So this position came from a retirement in June. So basically, I'm just going to move the employee who stepped down into this ESD position.
Motion for JP3.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
JP3 passed. JP4.
JP4 is a maintenance agreement for our HVAC at the towers. This is a routine annual agreement that we have from P&J. They've been great. They do quarterly maintenance at the sites and they've been great. If we've had issues, their response time is fabulous.
Move it.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. JP5.
JP5 is to sign a contract with Motorola for our Plex software. It's our CAD records mobile software. This is actually going into the IT budget because all of our software has been moved into the IT budget. And this is for a 5-year contract.
And it looks like required 2/3 vote in the full-fledged. Motion for JP5.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? JP5 is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom,
Yes.
could I ask a question? It's Elaine.
I'm sorry, Elaine, could you what?
Yes, could I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead. I'm sorry.
How is how is the first resolution grant funded when we're taking money from the fund balance? That's what I don't understand.
Okay, I guess I can let Denise explain it as well, but it's going to come originally from the fund balance and then it's going to come back around. And the fund balance is going to be reimbursed, if that's the correct word or not, reimbursed from our grant money. Is that correct, Denise?
So Lynn could probably explain it better, but the grants are budgeted in my budget. The expenses are not. So the money has to come somewhere to pay the bill. And then once the bill's paid, the grant funding will reimburse it.
That's not really true. I mean,
No,
we are taking
that
the
doesn't
money
make
from the
sense.
fund
Go ahead,
balance.
Lynn.
We're taking the money from the fund balance. Her budget has expenditures budgeted and some revenues for these grants. This has come up as an expenditure. We can't amend the budget to increase the revenues because the revenue budget's already in there. So yes, she will be claiming it instead of claiming something else against the grant. So the fund balance will not be reimbursed for this.
So Lynn, because the budget's already passed with this revenue in it and there was no expense against it, it's just, you'd have to.
Well, this specific expense was not budgeted in the budget, but there were other expenditures budgeted. We try and estimate it. Obviously, we do the budget well before the state allocates grants. It's a $500,000 to $600,000 grant, so we can't just leave a hole in the budget and budget nothing. But you know, this happens typically, honestly, that we have to adjust the expenditures in 911. It's something she has to get fixed. She's going to claim it under there, but that money will not go back to the fund balance. It really is just meeting the revenue that's already in the 911 budget.
Okay. Okay, so I guess, it's already a resolution that's been passed on the floor, correct, Rich?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one they both need a 2/3 vote, right, Rich? One's taken from contingency and one's taken from the fund balance.
Yeah, once it gets to the full board. but
Yeah.
not-
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So JP1 is a 2/3 vote or not? It's not listed on.
It should say it. If it's not listed, it should say it.
It's not.
Then someone's got to adjust that.
We can make that edit between now and the full board.
Okay.
Just to highlight.
Typo.
but for now, like I said,
I guess my question was, this, Denise, was not anticipated that there would be a failure of this system, correct?
That's correct.
So this is an unanticipated issue that's come up, and you did not budget for this expense. Therefore, it can't come out of the grant that you've already accepted because you didn't put money in to meet this unanticipated need.
So it can come out of the grant. So Lynn and I have talked about this. They estimate our grants because we don't have the awards when it comes budget time. So for example, we're going to start budgets in September. We're going to guesstimate how much I'm going to get for a grant. What we have not done is also budgeted the expenses, because essentially when she budgets the grants, they look at it as covering operational expenses, but that can't always happen because the grants are very specific as to what you can use them for. So we look at maintenance costs and we know that we can reimburse for maintenance. But what we don't know is what projects are going to happen between September and, a year later when something like this happens. So that's why that expense is not budgeted, because you don't know what it's going to be, if that makes sense.
And the failure was not anticipated, so how would you have known?
Correct. So I'm trying to think of a better way, and like maybe you can help, but essentially what needs to happen moving forward is we need to say, okay, we're budgeting 700,000 for this grant. We need to make sure that anything above and beyond maintenance is also added in the budget so that we don't keep running into this issue, if that makes sense. Because we have to spend the money on specific things as far as upgrades to the system, and the grant requirements are very specific. So they do allow for maintenance costs of the system. They do allow for our core maintenance costs. But then they also have the expectation that there's upgrades done. We don't budget for those upgrades or those incidentals like this, if that makes sense.
If this didn't fail, you would not have used that grant money? I guess I'm totally confused.
So if this didn't fail, it would have been used for something else. And then we would still be in the same situation looking for the money. So regardless of the project, we'd be looking for a project to do to spend the rest of that grant money.
But the reality of this is this money will not be paid back to the fund balance.
This money will be paid back into, Lynn, will it go back into my budget because you have
It will not go to the fund balance. It's going to meet the revenue that's already the budgeted revenue in her budget. No, it's not going to go back to the fund balance.
Well, I have more questions, but this, I mean, you know, I'm glad that we're having this discussion, but I do know that your grants do offer money for maintenance, whatever that maintenance will be, and you can, if it's a scheduled maintenance, you know it's coming.
We do, yeah.
Sometimes you don't know.
You got it.
So I understand that we're gonna lose out, you know, you're taking from the fund balance to cover this in the meantime. At this point, like, we don't have control over this. You have to fix it,
You do.
and it's nothing you could anticipate. So it's, at that point, it's just up for the corrections to happen with our budget director and kind of come up with a report for us about how it affects the overall bottom line of your budget and our fund balance. But, you know, I do know some of these grants are just not specifically prescriptive on the specific maintenance, because you don't know what's going to break.
Yeah, and that's the trouble, is that thankfully, I hadn't spent this grant on something else when this project came up. You know, when Tom and I talked, I said, well, I think I can pull grant money. If I had already used it, we wouldn't have grant money to reimburse it.
But if you couldn't, either way, we're out the money anyway. It's not like we have
Yeah.
choices in this. Yes, that's it. But it would be good to get clarification in the end from the budget director. After all is said and done.
But I guess if you had grant money to use, where did the grant money go in the first place that is sitting right now that we can't? That you gotta go around this.
So I don't think I do the best explaining this, but let me try. So for example, when she does my budget, we'll look at history. We'll say, okay, so in the past, we've gotten 800,000 or maybe 600,000 for this grant. So she'll budget that amount in my grant, because we know that we're gonna get grant funding, but we don't know how much. But what we don't do is change the operational expenses. So those need to offset that grant. The problem is you haven't gotten the grant yet, so you don't know what it's gonna be used for. So it's hard to just say, okay, well, let's add an extra 200,000 in your budget, because you guys are gonna look at that money and go, well, where's that going? And my response is gonna be, I don't know. It's gonna be an expense from a grant project, but I don't know what it's gonna be used for, because at that point, we don't know, we may not know what the project, what we need to do for a project. We might find that we have a microwave link fail, so now we're gonna use it for that. So basically, in our grant budget, it'll just say, emergency communication upgrades, $200,000. But it's not specific because you don't know what you're gonna use it for. We do know that the maintenance is 499,000, so that's coming off the top of the grant. That's already budgeted in my point fours, and it's budgeted as an expense. Then we know that the master site maintenance is 40,000, so that's budgeted in my point four, it's budgeted as an expense. But that deficit between those and the grant expense is not budgeted. So that's where you have to pull money from somewhere to pay the bill, and then you can reimburse it. But the reimbursement is coming back to offset the revenue line. Does that make sense?
These are annual grants.
Yeah, they're annual grants, yes. Yep.
Annual or buckets.
Yeah.
Of things to put them in.
And once we get the award, then she'll adjust the budget. Does that make sense?
Not really, but
I think the grant part itself is what's confusing, but it's really irrelevant. You need the money to pay.
Yeah, we have to pay for the cameras. Once we pay for them, I'll submit the voucher to the state. They'll reimburse us. It's gonna be reimbursed to the county, but it's gonna offset my revenue line.
Does this happen every year? Should we rethink about how we plan for that?
It doesn't happen every year. It happens pretty consistently, yeah. And we've gone a year where the state didn't give the grant, so we got a 2-year grant. So that's where it's like, you're skeptical on what do you do? The PSAP grants are pretty self-explanatory. We get those, they're a couple $100,000. We offset them with personnel expenses. Those are easy. But the SEAT grants are a little different, and we end up here.
So at the end of the day, by the time we get to ways and means or something, if we just take out that whereas about the grant funding, you know, if it doesn't meet standards of budget director, however way we can afford this, you know, if we can't really put it in the grant, then just it's coming from the fund balance. This is a have-to situation that we kind of felt in, correct, or?
Yeah, so Lynn, we will reimburse it, but maybe you can explain that better because I don't know that I'm doing a good job.
You just have to look at it this way, that she's gonna claim it against the grant, but it's gonna help us meet the revenue number we have in the budget. It's not gonna go above it. Where if it was gonna go way above it, this would be a budget neutral resolution saying, oh, this is a 100% grant funded thing. Let me increase my expenses. Let me increase my revenues. Her revenues are already high enough. I mean, we could have done that with a resolution, then just never would have happened, right? Never would have gotten that money in. So she really will claim it against the grant. But like she said, the revenues were budgeted higher. The expenses weren't put in there to, I guess, meet the level of the revenue reimbursement that we had anticipated in the budget. So she needs to pay the bill. She needs to fix the video cameras. It will help make sure all of the grant money comes into the county, but that was already budgeted. I guess that's how you have to look at it. So this ends up being kind of like a one-sided budget adjustment, right? Increased expenses, but we don't have to increase. We can increase revenues. They're already at the right level in the budget. Hence, it uses the fund balance when it's one-sided like that.
That makes sense?
Yeah, but should it have been, should it have been budgeted as an expense? Should have been put in there.
So we can,
Up to, whatever you call it, is possible upkeep or maintenance that.
so we can attempt to do that this year. But I think the concern has been it'll get caught because you don't know what it's going to be. And what happens if we don't get the grant next year? I mean, we probably will, but it has happened where they pushed it off and you ended up with a 2-year award instead of a 1-year award. So I think that's the kind of loophole that you worry about. But we can definitely look at doing that this year.
Could you put like an emergency repair line in your budget? You know, for if something's
Yeah.
goes haywire,
Mhm.
you would have a budget line with however much money
Yeah, or it can just,
that you could, when you got that grant money
Mhm. back,
you could put it in that line. I don't know.
yeah, we could just add it to the radio line and just increase the,
It would just increase the local share of the department in the budget, so it's not so easy to just say that.
It's not a bunch of bullshit.
Let the bookkeepers take care of it. Well,
Clear as mud.
yes.
All right.
I'm just repeating what was said.
I don't know if that was helpful at all.
Well, a deficit's a deficit. I think we're just getting hung up on the line items, right? So even if you didn't have the grant, we'd still be paying for it.
Yeah, but we will be able to reimburse it, but it just meets essentially it meets the revenue line.
Yeah, but in the end, it's gonna, the money coming out and revenue was gonna match the expense in the end. But I guess, it's gonna be up to Lynn as we,
No, it doesn't
Just-
end up matching it, just trust me.
I
It affects the fund balance in the end.
That's don't.
so like, as far as for today, we're not gonna solve a $1 million question today, so.
Yeah,
We pass a resolution, it's gonna go to Ways and Means anyways, but we can further discuss it there and maybe get more definitive answers and know what to do with it at that point.
Just to clarify, so when resolution's submitted, it goes to everybody. So did you and Lynn work on this before me? Okay, so.
yeah, we do.
Everybody's, okay, we just don't clear about it, okay.
No, yeah, the resolution is accurate. That's why Denise is asking to take the money from the fund balance. So she and I work together on this, so that's why it says that.
Okay,
I would not know that lingo.
All right, anybody else? Hearing none, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, assigned counsel. I see Mr. Price here tonight.
Afternoon. Have our report, nothing mind blowing in there. So outside of that, unless anyone has any questions.
Anybody for Mr. Price? Nope. No questions, just I know you're working on the grant and
We have,
keep going.
yep, we have a grant coming from the state for, family court resources. We have a meeting with John
You're working with John Evans on that.
time next week.
Yeah.
So that should be good.
All right. Thank you much.
All right, thank you.
District Attorney.
Good evening, everyone. We have had a busy month. We had 21 indictments in July. We'll probably match that come August. Our traffic diversion program is up and running. We've been up and running with that program for about 2 weeks now. We've already had 50 people go through it, which is more than I anticipated in the first 2 weeks. So that's great. We have submitted reimbursement for our prison cases, so we will be receiving close to $48,000 from the state for the years 2018, 2019 in prison reimbursement cases. When I took over, we were about 10 years behind, so we're really trying to get caught up on the reimbursement back to the county. It takes a while. It's a lot of detail they need for each case, but our goal is to get caught up in the next year or two. So that's a major goal of ours, is to get reimbursement back to the county. And we were selected about 2 weeks ago. I attended a conference up in Saratoga for the New York Public Welfare Association on our Community Accountability Board, along with 2 other Community Accountability Board members, and as well as representatives from Broome County to talk about our youth diversion program. So we were up there about 2 weeks ago to present on that, which was great. So I don't have any resolutions, so unless there are any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions, anyone?
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Emergency Services, Mr. Riley.
I got you, these.
Really will make up for it.
All right, I was not able to get a written report submitted on time, but I wanted to just go over some brief highlights from a relatively busy summer in the world of emergency services. We successfully filled our role of part-time administrative assistant, and our new one will be starting on the 18th of August. We'll be hosting next week the Lake District Emergency Managers Meeting. It'll actually be right here, and that includes 13 neighboring emergency managers. And it will be appearing next month for acceptance with no match on it. A technical rescue grant was approved through State Homeland Security in the amount of just over $48,000. We have not been successful in getting an award through this program since 2018, and John Evans took the reins on this and he was able to get us one. So that's going to be used to replace a hefty amount of equipment between both our confined space team with Auburn Fire and then our rope rescue team in the southern end of the county. We've been dispatched to 107 incidents year to date. 66 of those were potential or confirmed structure fires. And my hat is really off to the men and women of the Aurora, Union Springs, Cayuga, and Aurelius fire departments for a number of water emergency calls resulting in rescues recently. If you saw on the 1st of August, we had a 2-boat collision, which only came 2 weeks after those agencies had completed a 2-boat collision drill. And we had that exact same scenario where we had 2 boats collide and multiple individuals in the water. And we participated with those as well. Training wise, we've been running a lot of successful trainings through the summer. We held a school bus extrication course in Ira with 22 attendees. We started a pump operator course in Conquest on the 29th with 25 attendees. We conducted railroad incident safety training with 30 members of the Auburn Hazmat team at Auburn Fire. And then on Sunday, so 2 days ago, we conducted a multi-division drill between our newly adopted search and rescue team, rope rescue, rehab teams, county coordinator staff, and the Aurora Fire Department under the direction of our 2 New York State DEC Rangers. We held a missing person scenario at Long Point where we had an area search completed and we located the victim and removed him via rope rescue. So it's been a very busy summer for us, and in light of not providing a written report, that is what I had for you this evening. If there are any questions.
All right, thank you, Riley.
right.
Timing on the boat thing was Just happened to be, right?
It seems more and more, we train on something and then we go for the same thing. Scenario happens within a.
Tell you to stop training.
days.
Not what you want to do.
Yeah, so we held an RTB class or rescue tech basic last summer and we had a vehicle over an embankment on a fire lane on Owasco Lake. 3 hours after that class was completed and 2 of the students were securing tie-off lines to the vehicle. You can't choose the way this world works. The cosmic balance is a funny thing. But if there's no questions, that's what I had.
Any questions?
That's what I've got.
Probation, Tyrone.
Well, I do not have any resolutions and been busy. Got our operating system back up. We were down for probably maybe 5-6 weeks. And so we've been busy trying to catch up with that. Basically, we couldn't do anything. So we were writing reports, PSIs and investigations the old fashioned way. And so gave my staff an opportunity to see what old school looked like. But other than that,
Used to do things.
yeah. So, I mean, other than that, we've been engaged in some community events and got the guys through firearm instructor schools. So we're hoping to get them through instructor development here. And
Anybody have anything for Tyrone?
Your points about training, and trying to get it closer to CNY, is it like a recent problem or is this an all the time?
this has been an ongoing problem. I think we send something every year through Area 1 COPA, but they seem to ignore those requests and everything ends up in Westchester, Dutchess, or.
Anyone else?
If I could,
Sure.
I'd like to get, Mr. Thomas is my new hero. After watching him at the 4-H fair with that hammer sheep, whatever it was. It's like, I pity the perpetrators. The headlock you had on that little sucker trying to make, he was just unbelievable all over the place and somehow, minus the saddle, you managed to.
At least it didn't get away from you, so I guess that's just good.
There's a great video online.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, gave my daughter something to laugh at. So.
And I'm surprised you didn't place in the top 5.
Yeah, no kidding.
What are you trying to say?
He earned it, you didn't. So I'm saying,
I just followed directions.
great job. Thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Sheriff.
Good afternoon. I don't have anything to add to my report. I would just like to say, I hope that this body will continue to keep the planning for the backup 911 center as a priority. It's a real concern of mine. If our radios are going down, we're one catastrophe away from a giant mess and certainly a huge catastrophe. So I just want to make sure that stays at the forefront to keep pushing that forward. I don't have anything in addition to the report. I'm happy to answer any questions before we get into my resolution. If you have any.
Anybody questions for the sheriff? Hearing none, if you would, Sheriff, JP6.
JP6 is authorizing the fill of one vacant deputy sheriff patrol position within our office due to retirement.
Move it.
Second.
In a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
JP6 carried. JP7.
JP7 is the authorization to fill 3 deputy sheriff custody positions within the jail.
Move it.
Motion, I'll look for a second. Yes, I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
JP7 is carried. Anything else further for us, Sheriff?
I don't have anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brings us to Stop DWI. Mrs. Dennis is on vacation this week. She had contacted me and she does have one resolution. JP 8, to authorize the chairperson of the legislature and the Cayuga County Stop DWI Coordinator to enter into an agreement with FLX Local Media to promote the Cayuga County Stop DWI program. This is advertising that they do annually with the radio station. She did supply me with information as to what it will cover. For $4,860 to enter an agreement for a 4-month media campaign promoting Cayuga County's Stop DWI program. It includes commercials to air September 1st through December 31st. There'll be 2 live interviews with that as well. Also other taped interviews. One will be with the sheriff, the district attorney, one will be the Auburn Chief of Police, a state trooper, and also possibly our DWI director themselves. It also has sponsorship where it gets advertisement throughout a couple of local high school football teams, as well as Buffalo Bills and Syracuse University football will get recognition through that. So like, again, this is what she has done every year, what DWI program has done every year. And the SU or the Buffalo Bills thing is an add-in to hopefully enhance it and get more exposure to it. So with that, I guess I'll entertain a motion for JP 8.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? JP 8 is passed. And with that, if anybody has no more business for this meeting, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. A second? Favor? Meeting adjourned.
Public Works will be at 4:45. that whip.
It should be as easy as just making a phone call.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're just so kind.
I mean, let me know, we can. They usually want to talk.
But if we're ready, I'll call the meeting to order. All members are present except for Brian Muldrow. First thing on the agenda, I'd like to have some, approve the minutes from the July 8th meeting.
Move them.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried, thank you. Department heads. I know Kevin is on vacation. Talked to him briefly last week. I think there's just one resolution for him. And Brian Soper, you're on the schedule next.
Only thing I'd like to add to the report is we did get our permit for Phillips Road Bridge today, so we'll start that project on Monday. And yesterday we submitted 4.5 million to CHIPS for reimbursement, so we'll be seeing that revenue coming in September.
The 4.5 million is for what projects?
Our CHIPS reimbursement.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Any other questions for?
What town is the bridge in?
Sempronius,
Okay,
just about 41A in Phillips Road.
gotcha, okay.
So you see all the resolutions for the MEOs. They are all going to be, I don't want to say pulled, but they're going to be delayed until full ledge meeting. So any other questions for Brian while we're here? Otherwise, Doug, it's up to you to extend this meeting for a few minutes.
All right, no problem. Usually people tell me to shut up after talk too much, you know, that's how it goes. But so at the district, I mean, you guys got the report, an update for the weed harvesting, especially this time of year. We are on Owasco Lake at the moment. We're just north of Indian Cove on the east side and up to about Ensenor on the west side. So I'd say if anybody talks to people that have camps or interacts with the lake, if they have that, to make sure they mark their water lines, or if they don't want to cut in the areas that as we move north, to just let us know. So we don't inadvertently hit one. You can't see them, the weeds are growing. It happens, you know, once, twice a year. We just have to go back in and fix them. And then after that, we've already cut Cayuga Lake, so we're going to be moving on to the Little Sodas Bay and then down to Lake Como. And then that'll end our season. So we haven't been finding a lot of weeds, so I guess that's good news. Maybe there's not as many.
Yeah, it's kind of different growing year, huh? They got plenty of water there, no place else.
And a lot of heat and a lot of, I mean, it's just every year's different. You never know, you know, and the species are different. So it's a crapshoot. Sometimes you find them in spots, sometimes you don't. That's why we're just out there. We're going to tour the whole lake, and when we find them, we cut them. And then we'll pull out and then head out. The other thing, we're looking forward to our AEM, our Ag Environmental Management Awards on Thursday. Hopefully we'll see, I know, a couple of you there. That'll be good. 10 to 2, celebrate, you know, a handful of farms that we have that are doing a great job here in the county. So it's with a tour. If your schedule fell through and you wanted to attend, you're more than welcome to just reach out to our office. We'll get you. And then we're just still waiting on some of the grants that we applied for. Ag Town Point should be announced hopefully any day now, this month, for some of the ag grants that we put in. So guys have been busy this year. The weather, dry weather keeps you over. But if anybody ever hears anything, not that there's a lot of drainage problems going on right now, but if any of your constituents have any resource concerns, feel free to reach out. We're trying to keep rolling up permits and stuff too, so.
Okay. Any other questions?
Are you having any fall tours? I can't make the one this week, but.
We're working with the Partners for a Healthy Watershed to do some tours as well.
Okay.
Yep, and here for our conservation field days, we're gonna have the mobile dairy experience. So we got a big state fair going on, obviously next week, where the conservation districts have a booth in the horticulture building. But then every year here, the park hosts our conservation field days. And one of the buses up there where it talks about dairy, obviously dairy is a big part of Cayuga County. So that bus is actually in high demand around the area. And we're actually gonna have it here. We're still working on a lot of the fine details, but that's gonna be pretty cool. That's in mid-September.
Great, thank you.
More information to come on that.
That's for all the sixth graders, or eighth
Sixth
graders?
graders, yeah, running around, there's like 400 of them out there.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of different stations, many other departments help out, you know, it's a fantastic event. Actually. So,
Any other questions? Thank you, Doug.
sure.
We'll go back to PW1. With entering contract with cleaning service at various county buildings, mental health, Hardenberg Records Building, and the Historian Building.
I'm a PW1.
Second?
Question, I couldn't pull it up on my, so I couldn't see. Is it a new company?
No, this is,
It's a renewal.
this is a company that we've been using.
Okay.
Why don't you second it so we can have the discussion?
Constant.
Oh, time's
Oh, he
up.
seconded, yeah.
So this is a building that we've been doing cleaning with. Fairly well satisfied.
Okay.
The company that was doing it, sometimes they didn't do it.
Right.
Sometimes people didn't show up, sometimes they didn't get paid. A couple other things going on. So we're basically extending the contract that we have with this company to do these other buildings also.
Okay,
It'll increase our cost
Mhm.
a little bit,
sure.
but the cleaning will actually get done now.
Okay.
A little bit of difference there. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. And now, most importantly, any other business for this committee? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you.